accounting department of Petra Christian University is here to provide accounting education based on modern accounting curriculum, not on the traditional or conventional ones. Students will acquire a set of competencies as accountants in companies, not only as bookkeepers, administrators, or scorekeepers, doer or thinkers, but as actors who can adapt and contribute added values or value creators to the fast-changing in business world. Here's our classroom. This classroom provides a complete facility for teaching, such as LCD, whiteboard, air conditioner, and table for both students and lecturers. During the class, our students and lecturers bring their own devices to support the class. During the pandemic, we also rearranged the seating position based on the health protocols. Academic staff room is huge and also private for every individual, considering that it's divided into cubicles. Every lecturer has their own cubicle, consists of table, chair, and another 2 chairs for guests where our students can sit to have consultation. We also provide a printer, 1 PC or laptop, bookshelf, and free Wi-Fi in each cubicle. We also put a telephone here for an easier communication between rooms in Petra Christian University. Our administration room is connected to our head of department room to make an easier coordination and faster service for students. This room provides computer, printer, scanner, telephone, and an aid box. We also have a guest room for any guests that want to meet someone from the department. Tax Center is a learning facility for students who specialize in tax and to help make a socialization for public about tax through tax volunteer program. This program happens regularly to give service about e-filing to all Petra Christian University staff and local communities. Our lab is a result from a collaboration with Is Xbrl Regional Office of the Directorate General of Tax 1. A tax mini-court laboratory provided by the university from the evaluation of tax specialization curriculum. In this lab, students can do a simulation of tax court cases. There will be a role play between students. Through this lab, we hope that the students can understand how the court works when they have to settle tax cases and tax authority. Task Center Laboratory is a result of collaboration with Indonesian Institute of Public Accountant, also known as IAPI, used for a certification test called Certified Public Accountant or CPA. In Surabaya, there are only 4 universities that are qualified to be IAPI's partner to conduct CPA tests. This lab has computers inside the test room with surveillance camera.
Good morning.
There's also a surveillance room with surveillance camera and microphone to listen what's inside the test room.
Good morning. Good morning, committee members of Luka Petra. Would it be possible for us to stop the video for a while and give the opportunity to Professor Bird to share her screen?
Accounting.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, Professor Jack. Yes, we can see your screen clearly. I think you're still on mute.
Thank you. I'll just try one more time.
Right.
Yeah, okay. We're all good.
Yes, we're good to go.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, together with us today, we also have Miss Mary Richardson from UWA. So committee members, if you could make Miss Mary Richardson as the co-host for today. Thank you. And also Ibu Ima Dewi from UWA as the co-host as well. Good morning, Ima.
Good morning, Dania.
I think all is good for now. If you'd like to continue with the video again, Pak Joshua, maybe.
Ima might want to share her screen too, just to check.
Oh, okay. Ima, would you like to practice sharing your screen?
Okay. Okay, does it work?
Yes.
We can see.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. Yes.
Thank you. Committee members, if you could please help making Bapak Reza Hafiz as co-host as well. Pak Reza Hafiz is the country manager of CPA Australia Indonesia office. If you could please help. Thank you. Yes, thank you.
It's good to see the people who registered that are turning up.
Good morning, Professor Xbrl.
Good morning again. Lovely to see you. I love how we've all got the same background.
Right, exactly.
Very nice.
But I think my virtual background doesn't work well. As you can
yeah,
see,
Bu.
Yes, I probably have to turn it off.
Yeah, it's okay, Bu.
It's okay? Okay, thank you, Pak.
Yes.
Information System Laboratory used to support some classes that need computer, such as Database Management System, Accounting Information System, Information System Audit, and Computer Business. This lab also used to conduct ACCA tests for international business accounting students and also post-examination tests for all accounting students before they do final project meeting. Is a place used by the students to socialize, have discussions, and do their assignment. This facility is provided to foster academic atmosphere. In this corridor that exists in every level, students can access the university Wi-Fi freely. Our student lounge is provided for the students to take a rest while doing their assignment. They can also do discussions or waiting for the next class here. There are free Wi-Fi and new business magazines with up-to-date problems in business sector.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a great honor for me, Jonathan Edsel, as the Master of Ceremony for today's event. We are proud to welcome all participants of Accounting Talk 2021, Data Analytics for Accounting. For your information, this event is presented by International Business Accounting Program of Petra Christian University, together with the support from the University of Western Australia as our partner. We are very pleased that more than 300 participants from 16 different countries across the world are in attendance today, including Australia, the United Kingdom, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and many other countries that I cannot mention one by one. We would also like to address our special welcome to the representatives of CPA Australia and also our special guest from the University of Western Australia. I'm sure you all have been eagerly waiting for our speaker, but before we start, please allow me to begin our webinar session today with a prayer. I will lead the prayer in a Christian way. Let us pray. Dear God, Thank you for all the blessings you have bestowed upon us. We are truly grateful for them, Lord. Thank you for allowing and gathering all of us today in this virtual event to meet and share our knowledge and time with one another. May you extend your divine wisdom to our speaker so that she will be able to impart effectively her God-given knowledge to all of us. May she be blessed as she continues to bring her expertise to people who need her. Please bless the participants as well, Lord, so they will be able to glean the vital information from this activity. Also, we would like to pray for our moderator so he will be able to lead our discussion well today, Lord. May you bestow your blessings after this webinar so that we may go out and spread what we learned today, Lord, in the spirit of your love and generosity. May we realize that this activity should only glorify your name, Lord. In the name of Jesus Christ, we have prayed. Amen. All right, without further ado, I would like to call upon the representative from CPA Australia to give their warmest welcome to all of us here. To the representative of CPA Australia, the time is yours.
Good morning and hello from CPA Australia Indonesia office. My name is Reza Hafiz. I'm representing CPA Australia, of course. And as start, I would like to convey my gratitude to Pak Dania, Ibu Ima, and Professor Jacqueline, also Ibu Yuni, CPA Australia Head of Accounting Department, and Mr. Joshua Tarigan, Head of International Business and Accounting Department. Thank you for the opportunity. We are honored to work with Petra, and at the same time also with our special guest, University of Western Australia. Today's session is very important, in my opinion. Not only we concrete our collaboration between three institutions, but at the same time, we're also going to learn a lot of things that Professor Jacqueline will be delivered. So without further ado, I will hand back this opportunity to MC Jonathan, and thank you for all committee who help us to arrange this activity. All the best. I really encourage you guys to stay over and then ask a lot of questions at the end of the session. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you to the representative of CPA Australia for the welcoming speech. And to all participants, please give your warm applause to the representative of CPA Australia by pressing the Zoom reaction button. Thank you for the applause. And for now, I would like to introduce you to our moderator who will lead today's discussion, Dr. Joshua Tarigan, as the head of International Business Accounting Program at Petra Christian University. To Dr. Joshua Tarigan, the time is yours.
Thank you, Jonathan. Yeah. So a very good morning to all of you. Yeah. All of the participants. Yeah, especially also our guest honor, and also the Professor Jacqueline Bird. Yeah, as our speaker today. Yeah, I would like to share my screen. Of course, I'm not the speaker. Yeah. Okay, but first of all, I would like to introduce to all of you, yeah, about our topic today. And before that, yeah, let's take a look. Yeah, this is our flyer, a very interesting, attractive flyer. Yeah, and our topic today is about data analytics for accounting. I believe that this topic is one of the hottest topic in accounting field. So today we'll discuss some of agenda. Why does data analytics matters to accountants? Okay, the roles of data analytics in business decision making, data analytics steps. Of course, Professor Jekyll will not bring us to the detailed workshop. Yeah, but at least especially for you guys, the accounting students, you can have a very big picture about this. And how is the data analytics skill levels comparisons for accountant versus non-accountant? Because some people think about the difference. Yeah, what is the difference between us from accounting perspective compared to the engineer students or maybe engineer field, and types of data analytics applications or software. But and then to wrap all those topics, in this lovely morning, we have Professor Jacqueline Bird as our speaker. So we like to say thank you for the Professor Jacqueline Bird. For the opportunity. And also actually for the CPA Australia to connect us with the University of Western Australia, especially to Professor Jacqueline Bird. So this is a short CV maybe I can share to all of you guys about the Professor Jacqueline Bird, because when I take a look her CV is really long. So I cannot tell you everything about her, but at least this is a core of her CV. So Professor Jacqueline Bird is a professor of accounting and also head of accounting and finance at the University of Western Australia Business School. And she also a president-elect of the Accounting and Finance Association of Australia and New Zealand, and has been a board director since 2011. And she also the representative of the International Accounting Education Standard Board. Actually, I ever joined her webinar last semester. I quite forgot, in October or November. At that time, that webinar part of International Accounting Education Standard Board events. And then Professor Bird extensive career in education includes some positions in the past for some of university institutions. I believe that all those experience will give really a value added to our topic today. Okay, so on my final slide, not really final slide, before we take a look for Professor Jacqueline Bird presentation, let's see could be a joke, but could be also a very interesting short story for all of us. So this is a story of Google Pizza. Maybe some of you ever heard about this one, but this is actually what what happened in our daily life. Maybe and could be also in accounting field. So there is a story between customer and Google Pizza. So customer said, "Hello, Gordon Pizza." And Google Pizza replied, "No, sir, it is Google Pizza." And customer said, "So it is a wrong number, sorry." And Google Pizza replied, "No, sir, Google bought it." Customer said, "Okay, take my order, please." And Google Pizza replied, "Well, sir, you want the usual?" And customer surprised, "The usual? You know me." And Google Pizza replied, "According to our caller ID data set, in the last 12 times you ordered pizza with cheese, sauce, and thick crust." And then customer said, "Okay, this is it." And Google Pizza replied, "Might I suggest to you this time ricotta, arugula with dried tomato?" And customer said, "What? I hate vegetables." Google Pizza replied, "Your cholesterol is not good, sir." And customer said, "How do you know?" And Google Pizza said, "We crossed the number of your fixed line with your name, sir, to the subscriber's guide. We have the result of your blood test for the last 7 years." And customer said, "Okay, but I don't want this pizza. I already take medicine." And Google Pizza replied, "Excuse me, sir, but you have not taken the medicine regularly. From our commercial database 4 months ago, you only purchased a box with a 30 cholesterol tablets at Drug Sale Network." And customer replied, "I bought more from another drugstore." And Google Pizza replied, "It's not showing in your credit card statement, sir." Customer said, "I have other source of cash." And Google Pizza replied, "This is not showing as per your last tax from unless you bought them from undeclared income sources. And then customer said, and a bit angry, I guess, upset. Yeah, what? Yeah. And Google Pizza said, I'm sorry, sir. We use such information only with the intention of helping you. And finally, customer said, enough. I'm sick of Google, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp. Yeah, I'm going to the island without internet, cable TV, where there is no cell phone line and no one to watch me or spy me. Google Pizza, remind the customer, I understand, sir, but you need to renew your password first, and it is expired 5 years ago. So maybe this is like, a joke, yeah, or could be like a very, interesting story only. But I believe that this kind of things already happen in our daily life and also in accounting field. Okay. Now, to save the time, then let's welcome, Professor Jacqueline Bird for her presentations about the data analytics in accounting. Professor Jacqueline, the time is yours.
Thank you, Joshua. So first of all, I just wanted to say I really enjoyed listening to that Google Pizza example, Joshua, and it's incredibly appropriate and incredibly, basically, I think, quite accurate with what's happening with a lot of data security at the moment as well. And a lot of that I'm actually going to be talking about today. So very appropriate and a really nice introduction, so thank you. So it's lovely to be here speaking to you from Perth, WA. Before I start the talk on data analytics, I'm going to introduce you to Ima Dewey, who is from UWA. She's the UWA Regional Manager in Indonesia, and she's got some information to share with you about UWA. So over to you, Ima.
Okay, thank you, Professor Jack. And thank you, Dr. Joshua as well, and Dania and Pak Reza for the opportunity this morning. And good morning to all students. It is very nice to see you. As Professor Jacqueline mentioned, my name is Ima Dewi. I am based in Jakarta, Indonesia, and representing the University of Western Australia. So let me just share with you my screen. So I'm gonna give you just a brief information about our university. As well as where are we located, just in the general informations before we go to the main topic about data analytics in accounting. So the University of Western Australia is located in Perth. Hang on, I'm just trying to next my screen. Is it moving now?
Yes, Bu.
Okay, it's still okay. This one. So, Perth is Australia gateway to Asia. So, if you are coming from Surabaya or maybe everywhere around Indonesia, you can have direct flight from Jakarta or from Bali directly to Perth. It is very close. It's the nearest city in Australia from Indonesia. So, if you are coming from Surabaya, you can go via Bali. It's the closest destinations. From Bali to Perth, it's only 3.5 hours. And we also have the same time zone as Bali, which is only an hour different than Surabaya or Jakarta. So it is very good to have almost the same time zone. So probably right now in Jakarta is 9:30 and in Perth is 10:30. So it's very good to have the almost the same time zone as Perth. And Perth also an affordable capital city. So Perth has the lowest living cost in a major Australian city. So as you can see from the graph here, Perth has the lowest living cost. What makes Perth cheap is actually the cost of rent and also the discount on all public transport. So as a student, you can get a discount on all public transport for 40 to 70% discount on all public transport. And Perth is a safe and friendly and welcoming city. I really love Perth myself. And 37% of our Western Australia population born overseas. And if you are planning to take master or PhD in Perth and planning to bring your family, your children, you can always come and get a free schooling for your kids. And Perth, it's a city of opportunity. Maybe not many of us know Perth, and probably we know Melbourne and Sydney better, but Perth is actually a city of opportunity where we have 32% of Australian stock exchange listed company have their headquarters based in Perth. So we have 723 companies headquarters based in Perth. It is way more than Melbourne and way more than Sydney. So a lot of opportunity you can actually explore in Perth while you are studying or after you finish your study, because once you complete a minimum of 2 years study, you can get 3 years post-study working visa. So it means that you can work in Perth for about 3 years. And you can also do internship while you are studying at UWA. And we have 8% higher above the national average for the wages in Perth. And this is the picture here is of city of Perth. So as you can see, I'm just going to flip through the pictures. So this is the Perth city, and then this is Elizabeth Key. It's about 10 minutes away from UWA campus. And then this is Kings Park. So Kings Park is a national park. It's a botanical garden park. So if you know, in Singapore we have what is that? What's the name? Garden by the Bay. And in New York, you have Central Park, and this park is actually bigger than Central Park. So it's a beautiful park. You can see Perth from Kings Park, and this is only 10 minutes from UWA campus. And this is UWA campus, the most beautiful campus in Western Australia. And we have been established since 1911, so it has been 110 years until today. And we are on the group of 8 university in Western Australia. So group of 8 university is the top 8 university in Australia, and UWA ranked first in Perth or in Western Australia. We have 25,000 students with 5,000 international from 200 nationalities. And our global reputations, we are ranked 85 in the world, and we have the award-winning teachers as well, and we have more than 4,500 global industry partners. And in Perth itself, we are ranked first in Western Australia for graduate employability. And here is our campus. So UWA Crawley campus, the size of the campus is 65 hectares. It's really big. And we have our accommodations on campus, as well as it is very close to Perth City. It's only 10 minutes away from Perth City. You can drive or you can take bus to Perth City. It's very close to Perth City. And we have Swan River here. It's a beautiful river. It's the icon of Perth. We call it Swan River. So if you are having lunch break or something, you can sit next to the river and you can see dolphins over here. It's a beautiful, beautiful place in Perth. And this is our notable alumni, Professor Dr. Budiono, who is our ex-Vice President of Indonesia. Professor Dr. Budiono went to UWA to take Bachelor of Economics. I'm going to hand it over back to Professor Jack to share about the data analytics in accounting. Thank you. I'm going to hand it over back to Professor Jack to share.
Okay, hopefully you can see my screen there. Thank you very much, Emma, for that introduction to UWA. It's really wonderful to be with you this morning. Basically, a lot of my research in the area, but also my teaching and my experience in developing courses in business data analytics. situated on the southern part of the campus, and as you can see, it overlooks the Swan River there. So it's quite a delightful setting. It's a very, very modern school, and it's of our industry supporters. And I can talk briefly about those industry supporters. So you can see here a whole lot of company names, organisational names, and some of them you've probably heard of before, such as BHP Billiton, and wonderful relationships.
Sorry, Professor Jacqueline.
Yes.
It looks like your voice blur only from me.
It looks like what? Sorry.
Yes, Prof. Jack. I think your voice is breaking.
Okay. Your voice now is clear.
It's clear.
Try again.
Is that okay?
You can.
Is that better?
Yeah, better, I guess.
Okay.
Better,
yes.
Now, yes.
I can put my headphones on. I'll try that too.
Now it's fine. Good. You can continue.
Is that better?
Yes, better.
Yes, okay.
You can continue. Yes, you can continue.
Okay. Thank you. So, I'll just share my screen again. Okay, so the business school has a whole lot of industry supporters, and we can see the industry supporters that we have relationships with. And these supporters actually do guest lectures on campus and help us advise on our curriculum. The business school is one of only 8 institutions in Australia which is accredited by Equus and AACSB. And one of the important aspects of what we do is called practical learning, which is guest lectures, case studies, business projects, internships. And these are with organisations such as what I showed you before. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, it is good. You can continue.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. One of the special things, and I noticed at the start your beautiful video, is that we have a state-of-the-art trading room. And you can see the trading room here. This is situated in the business school. So this facility is an amazing, innovative, immersive learning environment, and it allows students to access real-time information and current share prices and a whole lot of information about companies, and they can apply their skills to real-time information. That's another picture of the trading room. Every time I go into the trading room, I feel like I'm on the set of Star Trek, the show. It's very futuristic. So in the trading room, we have got live finance information coming in. We've got news feeds, we've got video walls, we've got 170 displays. This facility takes students to the cutting edge of finance, and it's also exposing them to industry relevant skills. Now, just briefly before I start on data analytics, I wanted to talk about our degree program in data analytics. So in amongst our masters, and we have a whole heap of masters that you can see there, and I will share my slides with you at the end. So we have Master of Applied Finance, which is taught in the trading facility I just showed you. And we also have Marketing, Commerce, but we have a brand new program that you can see there, which is the Master of Business Analytics. This Master of Business Analytics is brand new. We introduced it last year. I was on the curriculum design for that degree program. It takes approximately 1.5 years if you have prior learning in commerce. You would know if you read newspapers, particularly anything in the job market, that having analytical skills is leads to the number one jobs in the world at the moment. So there's so many jobs in the area of data analytics, data science, IT accounting, and so on. So the starting salary average in Aussie dollars is 73,000 for people with these skills. Our program basically is aiming to equip students with analytical skills so that they can extract meaning from complex data sets and they can converse with a whole lot of technical experts, including computer scientists. So this business expertise is highly sought after in the workplace. So before I start talking about analytics, I just wanted to tell you about my journey and data analytics and accounting. So as Joshua already introduced me, I am a professor and head of department at UWA Business School. I've taught in both accounting and information systems. I'm actually now not president-elect, I'm the president of AFANS and have been doing that for the last 2 years. I have also helped design the graduate certificate in business analytics and the masters in business analytics at UWA. This area of analytics and accounting is something which I teach in and I also research in. I'm also now supervising PhD students in the area of accounting and IT. So that might be something else you're interested in, is a PhD. So my research in the area is largely in the area of Xbrl, and I'll talk about that later, data analytics, internet-based financial reporting, and changing jobs because of IT. So what I'm going to be talking about now is basically the changing business world and how technology is changing it. And I'm going to talk about specific technologies, including data analytics. I'm then going to talk about the opportunities and challenges for accounting and auditing. And then we're going to specifically look at data analytics and the use in accounting and auditing. And I'll talk about some groundbreaking research that has recently been done in the area. I'm then going to introduce you to data analytic packages for accounting and auditing. And the one that I'll focus on is Tableau. And then to finish up, I'm going to talk about data analytics and the accounting curriculum. So if there are any academics out there and also students, and I know we have all of those, you might be very interested to know what we're going to be doing with the curriculum and what we should be doing with the curriculum to meet the demands of the accounting and auditing profession. So let's start off with technology and the business world. So back in 2017, so 4 years ago, time is going quickly, I was asked by the International Accounting Education Standards Board, and they're headquartered in New York. I was asked to head a task force to write a literature review on what the accountants were doing and what the future looked like in terms of technology. So we looked at over 1,000 articles and we came up with the following topics that were just clearly evident as part of our literature search. Those areas were big data and data analytics, Bitcoin and blockchain, Xbrl, mobile phone technology and the use of company websites, artificial intelligence and drone, accounting software and social media. So now I'm just going to briefly cover each of these, and the biggest one, which is data analytics, I will leave to the end of this section, and then the whole rest of my talk will be all on data analytics per se. So we've heard a lot now about Bitcoin, so cryptocurrencies and blockchain. So Bitcoin now actually has been around for 12 years. So it was introduced in 2009. It allows online payments to be made from one party to the other. Now, the advantage of using cryptos is that there is obviously the speed of the transaction and the security of the transaction. And security is something that Joshua was talking about with his Google Pizza example before. There's also advantages in terms of cost and convenience. So the technology behind Bitcoin is blockchain. So blockchain increases the efficiency and transparency of governance, financial and security settlements, and financial clearing processes. So a lot of people have been quite concerned, particularly auditors, about what it's going to mean to the auditing profession going forward and whether or not there's going to be a loss of jobs in that area. So in terms of changing the role of the auditor and the accountant, well, there will be change, and there is change happening, because instead of keeping separate records based on transaction receipts, companies are able to write their transactions directly into a joint register. So that creates a set of interlocking system of accounting records. So because of this centralized system of interlocking records, it means that we're not going to have as many people entering in that information in the first place. So that's where the concern has been about potential job losses in accounting and auditing. But in the same time, there's also opportunities, because we're going to need a whole lot of skilled people to audit the new blockchain. So that's a very important point. So while there are challenges associated with that technology, there's also opportunities. The other exciting thing is in the area of artificial intelligence and drone technologies. So already we've seen a lot of AI used in industries such as healthcare and in mining. We're also seeing the use of a lot of robot and bot technologies, and they're used to perform roles which are very repetitive, such as calculations and also assisting in data analysis. Now, drones in particular really excites me. And before COVID hit, I was lucky enough to be in San Francisco and listening to a talk by an American company which was performing audits using drones. Now, the exciting thing about this, and I'll show you the picture there, and you can see the picture taken by the drone, is that not only are we getting pictures very quickly and we're able to then count the cattle, you can actually upload that picture to a website and that will count the cattle for you. So you don't have to rely on a human eye. But not only that, that picture has got thermal mapping, which means we can actually track whether or not the cattle is alive, and we can also track whether it's pregnant. So we get a lot more accurate audits done this way. So not only audits are much quicker than they were before, they're also a lot more accurate. And the latest data is telling us that these audits are 35 more times faster than a normal audit. So that's just an example of a fabulous use of technology in auditing. In addition, we've got a whole heap of new accounting software out there, and I'll talk a bit more about the analytics software, but there's a whole lot of accounting software used for doing a whole lot of basic tasks such as Xero and QuickBooks and MYOB, Sage 50, etc. So that's very important to see a lot of the changes going on, particularly with cloud computing in this area. I mentioned before about mobile phone technology. So for years and years, we've been using mobiles to communicate with each other, but a lot of small businesses now use mobile as their sole technology to pay their bills, invoice clients, etc. So we see the use of the mobile phone a lot more. Then we've got social media. So we should always mention just take account of the impact and the use of social media in marketing businesses. So that's another important technology aspect. And we're also seeing this used a lot more now, of course, with accounting firms and networking opportunities. Xbrl. So I'm not sure if you've heard about Xbrl, but it is something now which has been going for about 18 years, and it's gradually being implemented by businesses around the world and is actually mandated in several countries. So we've got organisations such as ESMA, the European Securities and Markets Authority, which is requiring all companies to submit their annual reports in Xbrl. So what is Xbrl? Well, it facilitates the electronic exchange of data between entities and allows users to conduct a lot of tasks, but really it helps the users understand the data. And that's because Xbrl has unique tags. So we have tagged information. So that links to labels in the annual report, in the financial report. So to show you an example of this, this is a company and you can see an income statement, which you would all be familiar with. And that income statement, you can see, you can click on any of those line items and those line items will have tagged information. So if we click on sales, we can find out that sales is part of revenue, that would be tagged. And then in addition, we will find out that the revenue account balance type is a credit balance. So you can see the type of information provided in the tag. And I know for a lot of unprofessionals, so people who don't have an accounting background, this type of information is very useful for decision-making purposes. But not only that, incredibly useful in Australia, we have a version of it called Standard Business Reporting, and that version means that our reports are sent to government departments, and it speeds up everything and provides much more user-friendly information for that department. So I want to move on now to challenges for the accounting profession in this new business world of a whole lot of new technology. So again, going back to the introduction with Joshua, we heard about cybersecurity, we heard about Google Pizza and Google being able to access all that data about us, a lot of private sensitive data. So cybersecurity issues, unfortunately, they are there. We have to be aware of them. There are a lot of scams, a lot of fraud happening all the time. And to me, that sees an opportunity for a new type of accountant, or not a new type, but the emergence and growth of a new area, which is forensic accounting. All right, so that's an exciting area of accounting. I know yesterday myself, I was at work and I checked my phone and there was a message from a scammer telling me immediately to phone a number because I had just purchased $4,000 Australian of IT gear. So of course I hadn't purchased that amount, but I knew if I called that number, they would then ask for my bank details, my credit card details, and who knows what else would happen. So you've just got to be very aware of all of these issues in this current environment. And we need very skilled accountants with knowledge in this area to help in business. The other challenge we've got is some businesses are embracing technology. So they are obviously quite up to date, have sophisticated systems with the latest technology. There's a lot of small businesses, and predominantly small, that are using outdated accounting systems. So that's a challenge because we know that there is a lot of new technology out there, and a lot of new technology which is a lot more cyber safe as well. So it's a challenge in terms of trying to change some of this technology, but also providing resources and easy resources for accountants working in some of these organisations. The accountant's role is changing, and I've already hinted at some of the changes with technology, but there's a whole heap of other things going on as well in terms of changing skill sets for their job. But not only that, the way accountants are working today. During COVID last year, we saw the emergence of the home office. We saw virtual working, and we saw office meetings being run all around the world using technology. So it's a very different world, and accountants really need to have great skills in being adaptable and being resilient, okay? It's a different type of work and a different type of environment. You need to be able to work, obviously, sometimes independently, but also you need to be able to work in groups with diverse team members. So job mobility is something else. When I first started working a long time ago, my office was in one place. I never went out of it. I was there 365 days of the year. Now you can work at home, you can work in a different state, a different country. You might do a bit of work in one place, another part in another place, and so on. This is the future, and these are the times we're in. So flexibility, mobility is also very important. And before we finish with the challenges, I just wanted to mention the importance in these times of good governance. So good governance procedures, and of course, ethics, incredibly important as well. These points will continue to come out in the remaining part of my talk. So in terms of opportunities, so specifically relating to data, in terms of auditing, there's massive changes going on because what we can audit is completely different today compared to what it was yesterday. We live in times where 100% of the audit trail is happening. It's not just an audit sample. So we can obviously look at all actions, transactions, reactions, analysis, etc. And again, going back to the Google Pizza example, that's what we're talking about. So the audit trail is 100%, which opens up a lot more opportunities for auditing and accuracy in auditing. So our financial reports can become a living ledger, which is always auditable, searchable, and verifiable. So we're using real-time data as well. The reports, as we know in accounting, traditionally have been historical in nature. Things are changing now where we can access at any time information and it's completely up to date. So that means that we can look at that raw data anytime in real time, rather than waiting to the end of the year and having undertaken a lengthy physical audit. So the profession is becoming very exciting with the data that we've got, the huge amount of data. And there was a statement made in the Acuity magazine 4 years ago now, and it's so true today, is that accountants and auditors will become the most powerful people in modern democracies because we define what is accounted and what is going to be auditable. So let's now just talk about data and what's happening with the amount of data and how much data there is out there. It's incredible the amount of data produced. So we're talking measurements that I had never heard of and never existed, obviously, when I was growing up. So we're talking about quintillion bytes of information. There's a statement which says in the past 2 years, more data than ever has been generated than entire history of mankind. So this data, it's not just useless. This data helps us do so much. It helps us make predictions, identify causes of events, provides insights affecting industry, etc. Think about the COVID times we're in and the amount of data we're getting on vaccinations and what's working and what's not. This is really helping us deal with the pandemic at the moment. So in terms of some current statistics, and hey, I Googled this to get the current data. So I did it real time to find out exactly what I've got. So Google processes 40,000 search queries every second. There are 2.8 billion monthly active Facebook users, 740 million LinkedIn members, 3 billion users of smartphones, 500 hours of video uploaded to YouTube every minute, and then 44 zettabytes, which is 44 trillion gigabytes in digital universe of data. So no wonder we've got Google Pizza telling us all about what type of pizza and our blood pressure issues. Okay, so as you can see, I'm very excited about data and data analytics and accounting, and I get very excited when I start talking to my students about jobs. And that's because there are so many exciting jobs in data analytics in accounting at the moment. So I just picked 5 jobs from the internet which were being offered this week in Australia. So one is with Johnson & Johnson, and they do a lot of first aid and a whole lot of other things, and they require an audience and insights analyst, and they want someone who can convert large volumes of data into business intelligence and strategies. The Commonwealth Bank, which is one of our big banks, has a role for an insights analyst in fraud analytics. So they want someone to solve complex business and technical problems. EY, Ernst & Young, have a new graduate program in analytics itself. So they want people to be able to empower clients with data-led insights, support business decisions, growth opportunities, managing risk. Westpac, another big bank, has a role in risk insights, where you're going to be designing data solutions for reporting. You need proficiency in applications such as SAS and other accounting software and stats software, and also databases such as Tableau, which we'll be having a look at in a minute. And finally, another role, which is with the Australian Financial Security Authority as a Director of Data Analytics. So as you can see, a very broad range of roles, exciting roles, and there are thousands and thousands of roles incorporating both accounting and also analytics. So let's now look specifically at accounting and auditing and find out how that data analytics is helping the profession. So accountants use data analytics to help business, and I just mentioned in those job advertisements, to help uncover visual insights, valuable insights within financials. So this will help the business to increase efficiency and to better manage risk. So we already talked about the audit trail and how auditors now have access to 100% of the data. PwC's 18th Global Survey identified that 85% of business leaders believe that data analytics has influenced business in a positive way. Now, the other thing about accountants and analytics is that accountants have a key advantage in analytics, and that's because they have a really good understanding of the core business concepts. So when you're studying accounting and learning your debits and credits and learning how to prepare a financial report, these are very important concepts and themes, which when you start looking at analytics and interpreting the analytics, we all have a great background knowledge. So we're ahead of the game because of our accounting background. So that's why when you hear of jobs in analytics, financial analytics, business analytics, etc., accountants can play a key role and really should be right at the front for getting interviews in those roles because they have great skills. I wanted to mention some very good research which has been done recently by a researcher at the University of Auckland called Angela Liu. And this is just showing us exactly what's happening in audit firms in terms of using data analytics. So she interviewed audit firms and spoke to them about how they use analytics and the opportunities. And the comments she made, she talked about it helps identify irregular patterns and outliers in the data population so that we can investigate that further. It also allows our auditors to recompute and examine the data in the recorded transactions in order to verify if the control process is working effectively. Again, I re-emphasize that point. Data analytics allows 100% of the data out of the system, and we can compare that to the transactional data. So there's a lot more trust and confidence in the numbers when you can look at 100% of the data. Leading to Tableau, which I'll be talking about in a minute, Another exciting part of it is that once you've performed your data analytics, you can then use data visualization tools to describe and explain the data in a meaningful way. So how does that add to the audit role? It helps by enriching, which used to be a rather tedious, potentially a little bit boring role. So it provides the audit clients with a whole lot of new insights about their business. And we could be talking here about operational inefficiencies of the business and internal control deficiencies. So recently, the magazine Accounting Today listed the following data analytics skills for accountants. So the type of things we're talking about in terms of the skill set are the ability to consider new sources of data and research and identify anomalies and risk factors. And that's what we were just talking about with Angela Liu's research. So also the ability to use statistics, including multivariate statistics, visualization tools, etc., to use and understand relational and non-relational databases, to use dashboards, and I'm going to show you a dashboard with Tableau very soon, to perform data and process mapping from a regulatory and risk assurance view, and to identify and frame key management decisions, to make decisions more effective and efficient. So all of that sounds like very good news for the accounting profession in terms of what we can add to the changing business world. So I wanted to now show you a list of current packages, accounting packages that are being used in accounting and auditing in terms of data analytics. So of course, one of the ones is Excel. Now, I'm sure you've used Excel at university, at school even. We've got to be really careful that we use Excel to the advanced degree and we use some of the additional tools in Excel. Excel is an incredibly powerful package. So that's a really good start in terms of data analytics, is using Excel. And it's not just used by us teaching students, it's used in the workforce. And a lot of the workplaces tell us that they would like to see more Excel skills in our graduates. So we at UWA are making sure that we are teaching Excel in all different components of the core subjects in the accounting degree. You can start off with something quite simple and build it into a lot more advanced as you go through the accounting program. Another one which is very topical at the moment, popular, is Power BI. And Power BI is a Microsoft product. So that's another easy to connect to data visualization tool. I've provided a link there to this tool. A lot of these software vendors provide free access to universities and students, which is really good news too. There's also software by IDEA, Tableau, I'm about to get into my Tableau, and R. So we're using R a lot in our programs, particularly in our research programs with our students at the moment. And of course, Python. Python is a very popular programming language used in data science and also used in a lot of commerce subjects. So I also just did another Google search, good old Google, and got the top 10 best intelligence tools of 2021. And you can see those tools provided to you. Power BI is there, Tableau's there, and there's a whole lot of others. So in your spare time, you might want to take a look. And most of these websites have got fabulous little videos that you can listen to, and also they have got free downloads that you can actually access to play with the actual software. All right, so Tableau is basically data analytics software. It has amazing visualization tools within it. We are teaching Tableau now in our graduate certificate in business analytics and in our master's program. We're also teaching Tableau in our Master of Professional Accounting program, and we're talking about it in our undergraduate degree. So why Tableau, or why some of these data analytics programs? Well, one of the best things about these programs is they allow you to combine data from lots of different sources. So you can combine data from your Bureau of Statistics in Indonesia, for example. So we can do it with the Australian Bureau. We can combine data from the stock exchange and include that. We can combine data relating to health, financial report data. Everything can be combined in a single data set. So why that's important is that, and again, it goes back to Google Pizza, it provides you with the ability to see a whole lot of very special relationships with the data that you wouldn't get to see if you just looked at one type of data. So Tableau helps you understand the data, blend it, which is what we're doing with all data from different sources, visualize that data, and to share your dashboards. And I'll show you some dashboards shortly. The other thing about Tableau, it's very easy to understand. You don't need programming skills to use this software. The same thing applies for many of those other types that I just gave you the list. There's lots of examples. The great thing is they're very user-friendly. So Tableau features are to clean the data, so to obviously delete repetitive data, check for inaccuracies, that type of thing, blend it. You can introduce automatic live updates. Now remember, I said before about accounting being a living ledger, a ledger which is constantly changing with real data. So Tableau can introduce up-to-date statistics such as current share prices and things like that. The data visualization enables users to see a lot of really interesting aspects of the data. We can also combine things like Google Analytics and introduce geographical maps. So we can actually have a look. Now, think about COVID at the moment, think about countries, COVID, all that type of data that you can visualize really easily with a tool like Tableau. It also allows you to see a lot of seasonal changes. Now for a business with accountants, for some businesses, we want to have a look to see what's happening from winter through to summer, those changes, the effect on bottom line, whatever. Tableau helps with that. There's also an aspect of it which is looking at prediction analytics. So very forward thinking. Again, the old concept of accountants being traditional, historical, a bit outdated. Now we're being current to the moment and very forward thinking. So this is an example of what we call a Tableau dashboard. And as you can see, the beauty is that you can combine mapping, and you can see here the map of the US down in the left corner. We can combine graphs, we can combine other graphical formats to make the information easy to understand, also to make it dynamic. So that's an example of a map. Now, the visual analytics really helps you with looking at different views in terms of your data and to ask a lot of questions of the data, such as what would happen if we increased this price? Why would we look at this particular country? So it can help you explore, find out answers, and build a lot of stories with your data. You can change the visual. That's one example. There's lots of many different permutations and combinations of data that we can look at. We can do a whole heap of deeper analysis of that data. We can look at outliers, we can look at trends and other granular insights of that data. This is another dashboard that I put together based on one of my data projects, which is looking at Australia and New Zealand universities and how they're teaching data analytics. So I wanted to show this information to the school board, and I provided some different graphs and different aspects of just showing the information. And this is the thing about the dashboard. You can take the dashboard into a meeting and you can put it up on the big screen. And you can also, if it was live now, I could tap on certain sections and show you the current figures behind that. So that's the beauty of Tableau. All right, now I wanted to just finish off this conversation by talking about data analytics and the future profession and what we need to be doing in the accounting classroom. So those of you who are studying accounting at the moment, or thinking of studying accounting, or thinking of masters and thinking about your jobs in the future, or if you're a current teacher of accounting, you should find this very useful. So the point I've been making today is that traditional accounting roles will decrease in popularity, the traditional roles. So that's why it's so important that we are making sure our accounting curriculum is up to date with IT and looking at aspects specifically such as data analytics, other emerging technologies, critical thinking skills, machine learning, artificial intelligence. All of these things need to be integrated into the accounting curriculum to meet the needs of the future. A study I did last year on the new breed of accounting graduate. So this study found, after talking to the big 4 accounting firms, talking to the professional bodies, the CPAs and the chartered accountants, talking to accounting academics, we found the following skills to be very important skills for the future. Those skills were the technical accounting. You can't not know what an asset is, what an expense is, what a debit, what a credit, how to prepare a financial report. That's all very important information. You need to do that. But as I said before, you also need to be very adaptable and agile for your position in the future. So we're not just talking about an office job as it was when I started out 30-something years ago. Times have changed. You need to be adaptable in your workplace and adaptable with the people that you're working with. You may not be working with the same person in your role. There might be different people, different groups, diverse teams. Analytical skills, I've been talking about those today. How important having data analytical skills. If you like mathematics, you are off to a very good start. Collaboration, teamwork, I've mentioned that. Interpretation, communication skills, being able to communicate and across face-to-face, online, standing up, presenting, but communication in your writing skills, very important as well. The next 2 things I'm going to be talking about are something also becoming increasingly important, and that is thinking critically and professional skepticism. Now, these things I cannot emphasize enough how important they are in the role of the accountant and the auditor, particularly with big data and the data we have at the moment. Even though we've got access to amazing data that I've talked about today, you still need to think critically and think skeptically about that data. What does that mean? You really need to ask questions of that data, and you need to think put on your, your sensible hat and think, is that a realistic situation? So what I'm saying is you just can't take the outputs at face value. We need a human, we need a skilled human accountant still to look at the outcomes and make decisions. So having all these wonderful packages is fantastic for our jobs and our profession in the future, but we still need a skilled human with great skills in skepticism, analytics, technology, whatever. We still need that person to make the decision. So there you go. That's what we really do require. So the other thing that we found is that you don't need to be an expert in every single technology. So don't think today that, oh, I need to go and brush up on Tableau and R and Python and idea, whatever. No, you just need to have an understanding of different types of technology. And out there will be a lot of similar products doing the same thing. You just need to have some experience with one type of those products and build on that experience. A general understanding is really, really good. So that's really, really important. Okay, so we do need accountants in the future who can work as collaborators and partners with executive teams, who can leverage technology and data and identify risks, and who can communicate those risks within the greater business function. So IFAC, the International Federation of Accountants, in 2020 made that statement. So again, it's highlighting the importance of the position. So the last slide I wanted to leave you with was what the new accounting classroom is starting to look like. So these are the type of things we're starting to introduce in the accounting curriculum. So we're starting to talk about the role of technology in business in general and how technology is changing the business world, similar to what I've talked about today. We're introducing blockchain and Bitcoin and talking about robotics and AI, cybersecurity, Xbrl, standardized business reporting, as I talked about before. Coding and programming are useful. So they're there in some courses in our degree. We need to definitely teach some accounting software. As I said, we don't need to be an expert in every type, but some examples and some degree of proficiency in one or more of these is really good, particularly Excel, and I mentioned that before. And then topics such as cloud computing, cybersecurity, I already had that in there, fraud, statistics, social media, big data are all incredibly useful. So to finish off, the challenges that we've got with doing this at the moment is that we need to really train a lot of our staff in these areas. A lot of our staff were probably traditionally from maybe a couple of decades ago where there wasn't as much technology. So we might need to obviously introduce some good professional development in those areas. It's always challenging with accounting curriculum because there's a lot in the curriculum, and you who are studying accounting at the moment, you need to have a look at management accounting, financial accounting, auditing, lots of topics. So how do we do this and still cover what we need to cover for the degree? The other thing is technology is changing all the time. So we need to try and make sure that we're as up to date as possible with our courses, and it will change from year to year. And I know that's what's happening at UWA at the moment. What we did last year, we've changed it for this year. So upskilling is really important, making sure that not only our students are being upskilled, but also our instructors, our educator. And the challenges with that are always going to be resourcing. So having appropriate software in place, infrastructure, laboratories. I saw some fabulous laboratories on your video at the start. That's really, really good. we're starting to upgrade some of our areas like that as well. And of course, there's a lot of time that needs to be put in. But there's a lot of information out there, and there's great sessions like today that are being put on that we can learn a lot from. And that's one great thing that's happened in the past 12 months, 18 months in this current environment, that we have been able to get together to present, to share virtually. And I think that's one excellent step in the right direction. So I'd like to thank you for your attention. I know I have been going for, I think, for quite a while now, but it's been wonderful talking to you. Hopefully the voice sounded okay. I'm sorry for the start. I am very happy to share my slides, which will be shared with you. And there is my email address. I'm also happy to have chats about future PhDs and anything like that in data analytics, all very exciting. I'm handing back to Emma. I think Emma's got one more slide, is that correct? And then we're open for questions.
Okay, I think we can open to questions right now, Jack. And
Fantastic.
if there is any questions about the scholarships, then we can bring out the scholarships page.
Okay, awesome. Okay. Thanks, Emma.
Thank you, Professor Jack.
Okay, thank you, Professor Jacqueline. Yeah, and to all of participants, let's give applause first. As our appreciation, you can click in your Zoom emotions. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for the wonderful explanations about the data analytics in accounting. Yeah, to all of the participants, you can put in the chat box if you have any question that you like to address to Professor Jacqueline, or you can ask directly. Okay, so you can ask directly, unmute yourself if you have a very burn questions maybe that you like to connect directly with Professor Jacqueline. Please, don't be shy. Okay, anyone, could be also students, because I believe that in our today morning, we have many students participants. You can ask directly, or if you feel quite shy, you can put in the chat box. Okay, anyone, please directly. But before we listen to some of the question, could be from the participants, maybe Professor Jacqueline, some students, or could be some school or some university in accounting departments would like to know more until which level, when they would like to learn about data analytics. You mentioned in your slide before, okay, no need to be an expert, but the student need to learn about some applications, some software in data analytics. What makes the student in accounting could be different with engineer students? What maybe makes the accounting department curriculum could be different with like say informatics or IT engineer department's curriculum? Okay, maybe you can have a comments for that one. So the students, or could be the university or some school or departments, can understand clearly in terms of data analytics, difference of skill level. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, so the first thing to understand is that basically, when you're doing data analytics in business courses, it's got a business focus, all right? So, we are looking at solving business problems. So the emphasis is, and the way we teach, we do a really nice assignment in our master's program, which combines Excel, Xbrl accounting software, and Tableau. And we get our students in groups to go and research company annual reports. and then they conduct their first part of analysis in Excel. They would have recorded in the accounting software to start. They do their first analysis in Excel, and then they do visual analytics in Tableau. And this assignment just gives them an opportunity, as I said before, to use their business skills, to use their accounting knowledge, so they already have an understanding of what a business report looks like, and to use the analytical tools to solve business accounting problems. So that's the big difference with what we're doing compared to with what engineering, IT, they're using data indexes would obviously help in other professions as well.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for your explanations. Yeah. We have one question here. I guess this is further questions, yeah, from my previous questions from skill, because you mentioned before in your presentation like Python and etc. Yes, like in our accounting department also, we have a course, yeah, courses, big data analytics, and the lecture rules is not really necessary, but because your accounting students, need to understand, like you just told us, yeah, need understand more in the business process and etc. Yeah, but not in the programming itself. So how you rest? Thank you.
Sorry, you broke up. I didn't hear that.
Okay.
I just got, yeah, if you can write it in the chat, I
Yes.
can read the chat.
Yes.
And I saw a question
yes.
in the chat I can answer, and that was about Python. So thank you for the question about Python. So as I said, you don't need to be an expert. And some people I know are coders, programmers, and it's second nature to them. So absolutely fantastic if you're that type of person, and having really good skills in that will definitely help you get a position using those skills, using those exact skills in the workplace. Not everyone needs to be proficient in programming though, but that will definitely create a nice niche for you. But what I'm saying is everyone needs to understand that these programs exist. So it would be good for you to see how you might use Python or R in a research exercise and how it helps us with obtaining data. So having a bit of knowledge, background knowledge about that software is really important, but not an expert. But if you are an expert, that's still going to be incredibly valuable because there will be definitely jobs for you using that expertise. Hopefully that's answered the question.
Excellent.
Thanks, Felix.
Yes. Thank you, Felix. Yeah. Any more questions, please? You can put your question in the chat box or directly ask a question to Professor Jacqueline. Feel free.
Pak Joshua, probably while we are waiting for the questions.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Theo, you can speak directly, or you would like to on your camera also will be fine.
So I have a question. The question is that basically you told us that you don't need to be an expert on the program of analyzing the data, right? at the same time, we have the threat of that technologies like artificial intelligence, and then like any programs could replace the workforce of could replace the workforce of the accountants and auditors and etc. So if it's like that, is it possible that the threats might not happen in the future if we have those basic knowledge? Thank you.
Sorry, can you write that in the chat? It broke up again. I didn't hear the whole question.
Yes, yes, Theo, you can put in the chat, but I guess what I got from Theo questions is, you know, when you're saying that no need to be expert until the technical issue or technical levels, but at the same time, you know, many technology come up to help the accountants, yeah, you know, auditor, yeah, you know, to do their job. So how we try to, you know, accommodate this kind of, you know, issue.
Okay, so I think I can understand what you just said, matching up with what Theo said. Can I just say that universities will provide some basic introduction to a lot of these new technology tools. So when I talked before about topics, I'm just saying that they are going to be topics that will be introduced as an introduction. A lot of the training happens in the workplace. So in your accounting firms, in industry, in businesses, you will be trained in that technology. All right. So like I said, you don't need to be an expert. It's great to be familiar, and it's great to have knowledge of statistics and have an idea about some of these packages, maybe have done an assignment, have good Excel. These are the things that are really important. Then in the workplace, you will be undergoing, obviously, a whole lot of training, professional development activities, and the organisation will most probably have their own software that you can't get access to, you can't get knowledge on until you start working there. And that software, they will train you appropriately. What I'm trying to say is if you have a good background and knowledge of some of these areas, that will help you with your training. All right, it will make you feel a lot more confident once you start getting into the data. See, what's happened in the past, we've been a little bit behind, and some of our graduates have gone out with little knowledge of technology. And those graduates have had to learn everything from scratch. Yet what we're trying to do now is give everyone a taste and introduce these concepts so that it's easier when they start working in the workplace. Hopefully that's answered the question.
Right. Thank you, Professor Jacqueline. So it doesn't mean we don't care about the technology. We need to learn some of the technology, but it cannot guarantee us, you know, to expertise all of the technology application, because could be whenever the student graduate, the organization use a different application and etc.
Exactly.
Right? Yes, yes, yeah. But at least the student can get the idea how some of the example of the application, the software, and etc. Okay, any more questions from the students? Yeah, from the participants, from the professional accountant could be, because I saw also some of the participants came from organization, professional accountant. Feel free. Yeah, you can put your question in the chat box, and you can also, directly ask Professor Jacqueline, because we not meet with her every day. So this is a very, valuable chance to all of you to interact directly with Professor Jacqueline. Okay.
I saw another question in the chat.
Yes.
The question was asking about general skills.
Yes.
Versus expertise. And again, I would say that having really good general skills is really important. But again, if you have got, and I've got a young cousin who's an expert with coding, and that's his thing. If you're that type of person, please develop that expertise. And whether you do it through university courses or whether you do it through online courses, I have a lot of my colleagues at UWA who do their own professional development online. So there's some amazing online courses, I know. Whether you do it that way or through the university, still, if that's something you really like to do and you're good at it, please do it, because you will find there are fantastic opportunities for you with that extra knowledge as well. So, and you only need to look at the top 10 jobs at the moment, and I would say 5 of them have got data, the word data in them. So if you can develop an expertise in something there, well, you know, it's going to be very exciting. It's exciting anyway, but there's some other avenues for you too.
Okay, thank you, Professor Jacqueline. Anyone would like to ask more? Feel free. Just my curiosity, Professor Jacqueline. Yes, I saw in your presentation also some of the lists of the applications or software for the data analytics, and you put one of them, which is Microsoft Excel. You know, some of university or some of lecturer, for sure, not in our university, but some of university think that what is Microsoft Excel? I mean, this Microsoft Excel is very basic and etc. How Microsoft Excel, you know, teach as part of the big data analytics software and etc. So my question here, in your university, the data analytics software, if comparing to another data analytics software, is it number 1 or is it number 2, or how is that for Microsoft Excel itself? Thank you.
Okay, so look, I talk to the industry regularly. I talk to professional bodies, and they tell me that Excel is one of those skills that they want to see more of in our students. And I also see this too from when I'm talking to our graduates who say to me, I wish I had done more in Excel. So Excel can be incredibly powerful. I'm with you. I think a lot of people believe that Excel is basic. They haven't fully explored advanced Excel. They probably haven't used the data analytics component of it. They probably haven't done pivot tables. They probably haven't done a regression, a multivariate regression on Excel. And Excel has all those tools. So it's one of the really important softwares that's used. So it's sort of like a very base level, not basic, but base level that people expect to have. So if you're going to develop expertise, getting back to the expertise question, if you're going to develop expertise in any software, I'd say Excel.
Right, excellent. Yeah. So I guess we have a very beautiful morning sessions today. Any more for the participants? Last chance before I pass this the next opportunity to CPA Australia. Any participants? Students could be also professional accountant. Don't be shy. Anyone? You know, this is a typical of Asia, or especially Indonesia students. They would like to hide themselves. Yeah. Okay. No one?
Hi. Sorry, do you hear me okay?
Yes. Feel free.
Yes, thank you, Professor Jack, for the very informative presentation just now. So I have a question because I'm interested in learning Tableau. And then my question is, how long will it take to master Tableau, as in to have sufficient foundation to get yourself started? And then will it be possible to learn Tableau or any software tools online, as in not to have a sit-in course, because you know some different student has different abilities, pickup abilities. So some of the students may not have you know the pickup abilities is different from other students. So I'm not sure if the online course would be sufficient for that particular students. Thank you so much.
Okay, so thank you. Very good question. So Tableau, I encourage you to go to the website because you are able to download a university student version for free. Tableau have made their software free for universities globally. Okay, so that's the first thing. You can get free access. Tableau itself have a lot of resources on the web, on their website, and you can work through their basic data. They have data that you can use, and you can start creating visualization tables for free. I did this myself. That's how I learned it, actually. I did it online, and they have a really good basic exercise using Netflix data. So that's how I taught myself. But we also have got an assignment that we've created, as I said before. That assignment has been published in a journal. The journal is called the Journal of Emerging Technology in Accounting. So I will send a copy of that link to the journal as part of my slides. So if you want to have a look at how we taught Tableau, it also is Excel and Xero, how we taught that, you can look at that article and see how we taught it. I can also maybe post the article if you don't have access to the library, that publication. So there is, yes, there's plenty, but don't forget what I said before, and that is that you can teach yourself the basics, you can understand what it does, but for a student going into the workplace, that's enough. They'll go into the workplace and then their workplace will tell them how they're going to use it. Or they might use a slightly different package and they'll tell them how they're going to use that package. So you can get a really good basic knowledge off the internet, okay? And I'll show you the links to that when I share my slides. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I guess this is the last questions from the participants. There is from Suraji. Yeah, for scholarship, I guess can explain later by Bu Ima. Yeah. The second question, I guess, which is about data is resulting from human activity, but also machines. How to combine the data? I guess this is about the big data, the volume, variety, and etc. How do you think your comments, Professor Jenkins?
Sorry, I've got the first bit. So something about machines, what was it?
The last questions, yeah. The second question, I guess, yeah. Data is resulting from human activity, but there is also data generated by machine. I guess that's what he or she referring, yeah. How to combine the data, yeah, maybe for the data analytics, yeah.
Okay. So I'm just trying to understand what that means, but I think what we need to do is obviously, I think the machine data that you're talking about is we still need the specialised accountant auditor to obviously provide skepticism of that data. So when we combine the data, we need to remember that that is machine data and that data hasn't been obviously collected by a human. So we just need to think about that. And it's what I was saying before about critical thinking, being skeptical, not taking it at face value. So the hand collect data that humans collect isn't foolproof either, because we know with human data we make mistakes. So the machine data might not necessarily have mistakes, but it might have different inferences. So that's where we need the human mind to actually come in and think about that information that we're trying to combine. So even though I showed you that fabulous graphic of the cattle and the drones, we still need to, you know, look at that and look at all the other photos and remember that we're the one making the judgment on that. So we need to consider the time it was taken and other factors. And that's what humans can do, and machines can't necessarily take into account all of those factors. So I still see an incredible role for us as accountants and auditors, because we just need to have that knowledge and remember to always question the data. Now, I'm not sure if I answered your question, because you might have been asking me, how do we combine it technically? And I'm not sure I've got an answer for that question, but I've just given you some insights into what we need to do as accountants when we're doing that combination.
Right, excellent, Professor Jacqueline. I guess we run out of time here. We are on the corner of our session with Professor Jacqueline, because by 11 a.m. Professor Jacqueline need to leave us. But don't forget, to all of you participants, we will finish our session by 11:15. Yeah. Okay. So before Professor Jacqueline leave us, so let's take photo sessions. All of you can on your camera. So okay, on all of your camera, let us take the photo sessions in 1 or 2 minutes. Yeah. Okay, wait. So I'm going first to the first page. Yeah. Okay, on all of your camera and give big smile, accountant smile. Okay, the first page. Yeah. The next, accountant smile. Okay, yeah, a very beautiful smile. Okay, a young generations. Okay, here the third page. Yeah. Okay, yeah. The fourth page. Yeah. Oh, looks like we have made several pages. Yeah. And after that, okay, the rest don't want to on the camera. It's okay. Yeah. So I guess. Yeah, that's all. Yeah. So for the last things, yeah, we like to say, thank you, a big appreciations to Professor Jacqueline, to spend her time in this beautiful morning to share the topic of data analytics for accounting. Thank you again. Yeah. So hope you have a successful career in the future. Yeah, and keep contribute to the society. Thank you, Professor Jacqueline.
Thank you. It's been lovely. Thank you, Professor Jacqueline.
Yes.
All right, so we continue our sessions. I would like to give the time to CPA Australia. As you understand, yeah, I told to all of you earlier, yeah, CPA Australia connect us with the University of Western Australia to invite Professor Jacqueline Bird today to deliver the speech. So I guess, yeah, this is the time for Bu Dania to share about the CPA Australia. Feel free, Bu Dania.
Thank you, Pak Joshua, and thank you so much, Professor Jacqueline, for the wonderful session that we have this morning. Hi, everyone. My name is Dania, Business Development Manager of CPA Australia Indonesia office. I just want to give you a quick introduction of what CPA is, because you may have heard it several times about CPA Australia. Just a quick introduction of what CPA Australia is and how you guys can reach us. If you could see my presentation clearly.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So CPA Australia, we stand for Certified Practicing Accountant. So the P in our CPA is practicing, not public accountant. So we are different with CPA Indonesia, or IAP, as you know. We are an international professional certification for accountants, because we always say that as doctors, lawyers, or pilot, accountants also need a certification. So there is a education background that you have to study. You have to earn the degree, but it's an added value if you could have an international professional certification. CPA Australia is also a member of IFAC. Previously, Professor Jack also said about IFAC, the International Federation of Accountants. Currently, although our name has Australia in it, that doesn't mean that the recognition stops in Australia. It's just like Garuda Indonesia. The name has Indonesia in it, but it doesn't fly only in Indonesia. Currently, we have 160,000 members across the world. We have 19 offices globally, and Indonesia is the youngest office in the worldwide. CP Australia is 135 years old by now, and Indonesia office is going to celebrate its 10th year anniversary this year. So why do accountants need CPA Australia or other international certification? First thing first is that is a global recognition of your profession, of your skill, of your capability, and also because of the effect of globalization, professional accountant is one that you can work. Professor Jack also mentioned you can work in from Jakarta, but your office in Singapore, for example, or in Australia, etc. But you have one a recognition, a global recognition that you have that skill, that people can expect to give you responsibilities such and such, etc. We also promote continuous learning because we think accountant is not you finish your bachelor's degree and then that's it. Accountants need continuous learning because 5 to 10 years before, can you hear me clearly? Okay.
Yes, Bu. Yes.
5 to 10 years before, we did not think that we could shop with our cell phone, but now we did. Even in Jakarta, in Indonesia, you can belanja sayur, you can do your groceries via an app on the phone and cashless, and it happens. Who knows what's going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years that will affect the accounting sector. One thing that I would also like to highlight here is that CP Australia designation, it's equal to postgraduate degree. There are two ways to obtain the designation. The first one is self-study. This is what most of our members are doing. They finish it 3 to 8 years, depend on your pace, or you can do the full-time program. So it's basically 2 semesters, 1 year in Singapore and in Malaysia, and you finish all the CPA Australia required program. Also, UWA has a master's degree and bachelor's degree that also connects with CPA Australia. So graduates from UWA can also enter CPA Australia as associate member or full members. In Indonesia itself, currently we have 20 partner universities, UK Petra being one of them. Of those 20 partner universities, we have 6 universities that are already accredited. You can see the list there: UI, BINUS, SGU, Tarumanegara, Trisakti, and Perbanas. We also have online resources for students. So you guys, if you go to cpaustralia.com.au and you make an account there for free, there's a there's a section called professional resources that you can access. It has reports, journals, articles, etc. that can help you in creating your assignments or maybe presentation, etc. We also have student ambassadors, CP Australia student ambassadors. This is yearly. The ambassadors are responsible to create student workshop. Next month, we are going to hold a CPA Australia Career Workshop Day in April. This is for final year students and young professionals who are looking for full-time job or internship in accounting sector. We will let you know more about this later on. So if you are curious about what the program looks like, it looks like this. So there are 2 levels, the foundation level and the professional level. When you finish the foundation level, you get ASA or Associate CPA Australia. You're an associate member of CPA Australia. Then you go on to the professional level, finish the 6 modules, then you get the full CPA Australia title. If you come from 6 accredited universities in Indonesia or other universities abroad that has already been accredited by CP Australia, you can get a waiver in foundation. So you're here already when you graduated. So that's the benefit of graduating from a university, a program that has been accredited by CPA Australia. For Bapak Ibu dosen or the lecturers, we also currently have a membership pathway agreement with IAI, Ikatan Akuntan Indonesia. So basically, if you have CA Indonesia certificate, you can become a member of CPA Australia without any exam or only doing 2 exams. The details are here, but maybe we do not have much time for this. So if you have any questions, if you would like to check if your universities are accredited or not, or is there any other pathway that I could go through to become CP Australia members, this is my contact. Feel free to reach me by email or by WhatsApp, or just scan the QR code. It will bring you to an online form, and I will reach out to you from there. So I think that's it, Pak Joshua, for my presentation, and thank you for the opportunity to introducing CPA Australia to all of you.
Excellent. Thank you, Bu Dania. Yeah, I guess before I pass, before I pass the time to MC, I would like to invite Bu Ima. Maybe Bu Ima would like to share about the scholarship, opportunity and University of Western Australia. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Pak Joshua. This morning is a great session, and this also bring a lot of my memory back, because I myself graduated as an accountant, and I work in Deloitte, and I use a lot of Microsoft Excel as well. When Professor Jack mentioned that you have to be the expertise in the Excel, and I totally agree with you. And it's all about Excel as well when I used to work as an accountant and as an auditor in Deloitte. So let's just talk a little bit about the scholarships, since we have questions about scholarships. So I'm sharing my screen now, and if we are talking, because the questions was about the full scholarships. So if we are talking about full scholarships, it has to be from Australian Awards scholarships. So if you need information about Australian Awards scholarships, that can be found in the website. And UWA also offer a partial scholarships, but this is only for postgraduate students or master degree students. So we offer scholarships up to 15,000 Australian dollar per year. So the tuition fee roughly around 40,000 to 42,000 for the business school per year, and the scholarships is offered up to 15,000 per year times 2 years, the durations of the master degree. So this is the requirement of the scholarships. So it is starting from IPK 3,25, so starting from GPA 3.25 to 3.8 for 5,000, 8,000, 10,000, and 15,000 per year. And this is only a partial scholarship. So all full scholarships needs to come from the government, which is the Australian Awards Government or LPDP. And yes, that's just short information about the scholarships. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to contact me. If you have any, like questions, anything regarding the course or regarding scholarships, you can contact me. Okay, thank you, Pak Joshua.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Ima. Yeah, I guess my job now is done as moderator. Yeah, thank you to all of you, to the participants again, to the CPA Australia, to the University of Western Australia, and especially to the main speaker, Professor Jacqueline Bird. So I would like to pass, the next, back to the moderator, Jonathan. Okay, Jonathan, the time is yours. Thank you.
Thank you to Dr. Joshua Tarikan for leading our whole session today. Finally, we have reached the end of this event, and now, before we close our webinar today, I will pray once again as we had opened our session before with a prayer. Let us pray.
Thank you, Lord, for the successful webinar. Thank you for blessing all of us until the end of this event. Please bless us as we continue our activities today and as we apply what we have learned in our own profession, Lord. Make us fully aware that this activity is not for ourselves, but for the service of other people. Make us realize that all our actions and plans should be done for your greater glory, Lord. All this we pray and offer to you. In the name of Jesus Christ, we have prayed. Amen.
Before leaving this meeting room, participants must fill in the registration form and evaluation questionnaire by scanning the QR code presented on the screen. And participants also can access through the link provided in the chat box. All participants are required to fill in the link in order to get the speaker's materials for today's session. The materials will be sent to your email at a maximum of 72 hours after the end of this event. We would also like to remind all participants that we are going to host our next accounting talk on 21st of May. So don't forget to attend our next accounting talk. Representing the committee, I, Jonathan Etzel, would like to say thank you for your participation in Accounting Talk 2021, Data Analytics for Accounting. See you at our next event, and God bless you. See you at our issue.